Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. So here today I am doing a little bit of an overview and review of this Sony Commander grip. It is model number VPT2BTSony. It is the shooting grip with wireless remote commander. So essentially what this is, it's a handle, obviously a grip that you can use to hold your camera. Now it has a number of features. You have a 1/4 inch screw here on the top, which gives you the ability to fasten it to your camera. It has a thumb screw here that you can rotate to tighten the device into your camera. In order to turn the camera around, you don't have to turn this thumb screw. This just tightens it in. There's actually a button right here that you can depress, and when you depress that button, it gives you the ability to rotate the head into 4 different positions. So that's pretty cool. Now this particular tripod does give you the ability to tilt, and there's a button right here on this side, and on the opposite side there's a thumb wheel that you can loosen or tighten. Now when you hit the button on the side, it gives you the ability to position the head of the small handle or tripod into multiple locations, and whenever you get it into a particular location, you can tighten with the thumb screw on the side, and there's actually like a quarter type or like a divot here. So like if you needed to use a coin, if this got too tight or if you wanted to kind of torque it down, there's a little opening here that you could use to put like a penny or a quarter in there to actually turn that. Now on the front of the device here, you have a movie control, which would help you to record movies or record video. You've got a unlock feature here, a little toggle, and that locks out any of the controls so that you don't accidentally change any of your settings. The photo button is self-explanatory. It allows you to take photos. You have a C1 button, which is paired to your C1 on your Sony camera. And what that does is whatever the C1 is programmed to do, you will be able to get that functionality with this button. Now it's kind of like an on-off type button. There's no way to kind of like toggle up and down. It's just a one-click type of button. In the center here, we have the tight and wide. You can zoom in closer or zoom out, obviously. Now in the back here, you've got these legs that fold out like this, and it enables the tripod to sit on a table so that you don't need to hold it. So let me loosen this portion here, and then we'll position the head up in this configuration, and you can see how that tripod works, and it's fairly stable in this position. Now I currently have the Sony A6700 here in hand, and basically I have a small rig mount on this camera, so I'm just going to screw it into one of the holes here on the mount, and I'll take the handle. First let me position the handle like this, and then I'll put it up to the body and just screw it in righty-tighty until it's snug up to the camera. Once I have it in place, obviously I can hold the camera in this orientation here, and then if I want to set it up on the tabletop, you can see it here, and then I hit the button and I can move it into different positions to do recording. And obviously with this particular camera I have the flip out screen, so I can flip it out and look at myself and do what I need to do here. Now on the front, as I mentioned, I can hit record, and that's going to start the recording. As you can hear it sound off there. Let me just turn it off, and then I'll hit record again. It's recording. I can zoom in and zoom out with the center toggle. It also gives me the ability to take a photo when I'm out of the record mode. And it does seem to have the functionality to where if you push the button down partially, it focuses, and then you push it further to actually take the photo. As I said, you have the lockout control here and the C1 button. On this particular camera, it's actually giving me the ability to switch from the shooting mode to either intelligent auto or whatever, because that's what the C1 is set to on this particular camera. Now, this is a small device. There's not a whole lot to say about it, but there is something that I do want to point out about this particular tripod handle. Now, when I hold it like this and I kind of jiggle it, the mechanism that gives you the ability to turn the camera around, there's a little bit of play in there. And as a result, when I initially picked this up and was moving it about, it makes me feel as though the camera is actually going to fall off of the tripod. Now, it's totally secure. It's not going to fall off, but just note that this button here that gives you that ability to rotate the handle or the camera around does allow for a bit of play in the collar here. And just from my personal opinion, it just doesn't feel quite as premium as a result of that. So, you know, your mileage may vary in regards to that, but to me, it just feels just a little bit less premium because it's got that little bit of shimmy to it. The other thing that I'm not super keen on with this particular device is here I have the original Sony remote commander controller. Now, this controller on the side, it has the locking mechanism or unlocking. It has zoom. It has on the other side, you have a toggle that allows you to switch from zoom to focus, which means that you can use the plus and minus buttons to either zoom in on your subject or zoom out, or you can switch over to the focus button and push that and zoom in and out to focus. So I did like that particular feature. You do have to toggle it back and forth for stills versus movie. So when you hit this button, the center button, it's a black button in the center, it's not red. It's either going to take a photo or it's going to record. There are not individual buttons for either one. So, you know, actually as I'm doing this little overview, I realized that what they did is they put the focus into the photo button. So let me just try something to see. If I put it in record, I'm recording now, and now I'm hitting the focus button and it is not doing anything. Or the photo button, sorry. I'm hitting the photo button and it's not doing anything. Okay, so that, or actually no, it is. It is. So on this particular setup, all right, so I'm gonna have to retract what I was originally going to say. What I was originally going to say is the commander remote actually gives you the ability to focus or to zoom. So if you needed either feature, you can get access to that with this particular remote. On the handle version, when you are recording, as I am recording right now, I am able to push the photo button and it will give me my focus points. So if I need to refocus, I just need to hit the photo button to do that. So that is actually a nice feature. I thought that that was actually removed from the this commander. So I do like that part. Now I don't like the fact, like I said, the little shimmy in the handle. It's not a deal breaker, but just for me personally, it does make it feel a little bit less premium. And just say, for instance, if you did accidentally forget to screw this on, you could mistake the fact that it's just that shimmy, and then your camera can go tumbling. So if you do purchase this, you want to make sure you get this nice and snug so that you don't end up having to buy a new camera. I don't know about the longevity of how this area is going to hold up with the, you know, the pushing the button to rotate it. But I mean, for the most part, you probably are not going to be putting this through a lot of difficult stressors or whatever. Now, something else I would have liked to have seen would have been a quarter thread on the bottom, so that I could have just took this and set it on top of a tripod and use it like that. As it is, if I want to use this camera, this particular camera, in any of my tripod setups, I need to actually remove the remote commander and attach the appropriate plate to the camera, and then I can put this on a tripod. Now, the benefit is I can still use this as a remote, just like the original commander. However, it is, if you look at the size difference, let me move this camera out of the shot. If you look at the size difference, this one you're gonna feel a little bit better about putting it in your pocket. It also has a kind of a band back here on the back, so that if you wanted to put it on a key ring. This one's a lot more intentional, a lot more bulky. It does add more functionality, because obviously this is not going to be any form of a tripod for you. So it really is just a matter of taste. Which one do you really want? When I purchased this A6700 camera, it has a little bit better stability than the A6600, which I do also have. And this one has a little bit less of the jelly roll when you actually move the camera. It has a little bit more in-body stabilization by comparison to the A6600. So I purchased this to possibly get a little bit better handheld footage, because as it is, when I use my A6600, I'm always using it on a tripod, because the footage is not very good when you use the camera handheld. The little bit of a shimmy here and the overall feel of the tripod handle, it's pretty lightweight for the size and bulkiness of it. As I said, it's just plastic, so I'm not quite sure about what the durability is going to be like on this. It does give me just a little bit of pause. It has nice functionality. I just don't know how I feel about that little bit of a shift in the collar, and then it's just, I don't know. So when I used it in actual practice, the stabilization, I mean, obviously this is not a gimbal, so it's not going to give a lot of extra stabilization or any stabilization. I just thought that maybe holding it in this orientation would make my footage a little bit more stable and better to be viewed. I'm not overly impressed with it as in that manner. Now, obviously, like I said, this is not a gimbal, so I can't compare it to a gimbal and expect gimbal type results. It does, like I said, it does do the job of holding the camera. It is better than just holding the camera like this. It's a little bit better to actually have a handle. So in that way, I do like it. This thing is $140 something or $140, so it came up to over 150 bucks with tax. So I can't really quite say that this is worth it. Just depends on who you are. Myself personally, I bought this. I've only had it for like probably less than a week to try it out, and I was looking, I actually bought this from Best Buy, and I was looking at gimbals because I noticed that this didn't improve the stabilization as much as I would have liked, and I saw that DJI has a mini gimbal that would work with this particular camera, and it was basically like $130, $140 difference between this and that. And so I went ahead and I decided to go ahead and pick up that gimbal, and I'm going to do a comparison between this and the gimbal, but that'll be in another video. I'm going to do an unboxing of that gimbal, but for right now, I think I'm pretty much finished with what I have to say about this. This runs on a kind of like a watch battery, those big flat quarter style batteries, and the battery is located down here in the back of the device. And I could just pop this open so you can see that. And there you go, that's where the battery goes. So anyways, guys, I want to thank you for taking time to watch the video, and I will see you in my next one.